Here's my Uncle John right here. Wave to the camera, Uncle John. Yo, this is a documentary. What are you doing?
Philadelphia, moving people is just one part of what we do, and it's a lot of the public attention that we get because people are very concerned about how they move around. But if we're not able to move goods efficiently in and around the city, things that people rely on every day, they can't have supplied to them. You know, you need to be able to go to the grocery store and know that food's going to be there, and an important part of that is getting that food from a distribution center to a warehouse.
Trains used to move produce. There was a guy named Swift, and you can still buy Swift premium meats, and he developed the first effective refrigerator car. It was packed with ice. They were just being phased out when I went to work for railroads.
Jonathan Klein is a consulting engineer with over 30 years of railroad management and rolling stock experience. He served as a deputy treasurer at SEPTA and has worked for many years as chief mechanical officer at Amtrak, and has consulted with other rail companies in the U.S. and abroad. His interview provided a great deal of knowledge and character that largely benefited the production of this video.
Long-distance trucking is what made produce.
It generally takes 3 to 4 days to get a load of produce in from California. We could bring it in fresher by truck because we could bring it in 3 or 4 days. If we bring it in by piggyback, it's generally 6 to 7 days. And we do a combination through the course of the week. We have a balance of 40% by piggybacks, or which is refrigerated rail car, and 60% by truck.
I would highlight sort of 3 things about freight in Philadelphia. One, we have an active port which brings in fresh produce from around the world, particularly from Latin America.
We buy bananas from importers. They import the bananas from Colombia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Guatemala.
Mangoes from outside of the country and asparagus outside the country.
Steel comes in from Russia over at Port of Camden. And you can tell when the boat's coming because there's a long line of steel gondolas covered. These cars are just made to carry 100 tons of steel per car, and they'll have enough lined up for several thousand tons.
And brings in meat from Australia and New Zealand. We're actually the largest importer into the United States of lamb and beef from Australia and New Zealand. And much of the cocoa that goes into chocolate comes from ports in West Africa right into the port of Philadelphia.
I was down to Costa Rica a number of years ago. We took the children down. They packed the containers in the fields, and then they trucked the containers to the ship at the port, and you know, the container goes on top of a flatbed, and they have some machine that picks the container up and watch it go up and in the bottom of the ship. They could put 400 in. They put them in the bottom of the ship. They put them on top of the ship. We sat and watched them do that, which was pretty fascinating.
We have a big mix of people that buy down here in the market. I mean, you have individuals that come down. We have people that own their own supermarkets that come here to buy. We have small grocery store, small produce people that come and buy on a daily basis. You have restaurants that come and like to pick out certain commodities that they like to use because it's fresher. I mean, there's a wide spectrum of people that come down here.
Now, like week after week, like around 4 million boxes come into this country every week, give or take, and that's quite a few. And that supplies all North America and Canada. You know. not just the United States, but 4 million boxes. And they never, like every week they bring 4 million in. It's just incredible how they can do that, and there's never really a shortage. And you know, sometimes it gets a little short, but we've always been able to get the bananas. We've never had a time where we couldn't get them.
Containerization. More than the internet, which is what people think caused globalization. And if you read the pundits, they'll say, oh, it's the net and it's electronic e-commerce. But it's not. It's the container. The container, if you're under 40, means you young people don't have a job. It makes it so cheap to haul crap by ship and by railroad. And America has made it so difficult to employ manufacturing people that you don't have jobs. I can look out my window over there and I can watch the big pile of scrap going overseas, being loaded into ship's hold as America cuts itself up into scrap metal and sends it overseas to be melted down and made into new things, which will come back in containers and go down to big box stores, to Target, to Old Navy, to all the places you love to shop, to Walmart, as new things. What made the long-distance passenger train profitable was freight. Just like airlines today, and back in the day, Greyhounds. Ever wonder why Greyhounds sit up so high? Because of the big cargo lockers underneath. The mail was moved in these passenger trains. Not the deluxe train, but all the other trains. And that's why if you go to 30th Street here, next to 30th Street is the old monster post office built right over the railroad tracks. If you take the train up to New York City and get off at Penn Station, right across the street is the monster post office right over the railroad tracks.
Another element of freight in Philadelphia is our airport. We're an international UPS hub. So when passenger planes aren't arriving at the airport in the middle of the night, there are planes arriving from Europe and from all over the country right into the international airport.
What today would move by UPS, FedEx, moved on the second string passenger trains. And when that business disappeared, the long-distance passenger network was doomed. What killed the long-distance passenger train was not the interstate highway, but the loss of the mail contracts. That and jets.
Because of its great East Coast location, they're able to distribute goods all over the country right through the facility there, which employs over 3,000 folks. So, I think one of the important elements of freight is not just getting goods to customers, but the kinds of jobs and economic development it creates.
My name's Kyle Coombs. I'm a selector / salesman at Quaker City Fruits and Vegetables.